All right, everybody. So in this video, I'm going to break down the trades that we have taken so far on gold using the Midas model this week. Now, this was taken, of course, by the members as well in the Discord server. I'm always marking these out and I'm always like giving these setups out. And yeah, this is going to be free for you. This model is free for you. Okay, I have this model and it works absolutely brilliantly. And I think if something is working, you don't need to change anything or create something new. In the past, I have uploaded different variations of different strategies, but I think it's time now that we stick to one strategy, and I'm going to teach you and help you master this one strategy that can basically help you quit your job in like 60 days max if you master this. All right. So I'm going to break down all the trades that we have taken. We have had 100% win rate for this entire week so far. I'm going to break down all of the trades. But before I do that, I want to re-explain the strategy so you guys can understand it again and again. I want to teach you guys again and again the same exact strategy so you can master it, okay? You don't need 10, 15 strategies. You only need one. And if you can master this one strategy, I promise you, you're not going to need anything else. I promise you that. Now, before I do that, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. And let's start with the video. So we are always going to be trading gold because I promise you gold, it's just ridiculous. Okay, it has this specific algorithm that operates at a specific time, and I'm going to teach you everything about it. So very first thing, gold, right? And set your time zone to New York so you don't get confused about the timings I'm about to teach you in this video. Now, the very first step is before 8 p.m. open. All right, this is very crucial. So 8 p.m. New York time, right? What you want to do is you want to go on to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, now once you are on the 15-minute time frame, simply what you want to do is identify the most recent low and most recent high on the 15-minute time frame before 8 p.m. New York time open, which is basically Asian session, right? Now, if you're from America, you know, from New York, this is beautiful timing for you because 8 p.m. you can literally trade it. Now, anyways, what you want to do is mark out the most recent high and the most recent low before 8 p.m. open. Now, as soon as the clock hits 8 p.m., you are waiting for price to either take out the most recent low or the most recent high that you marked out on the 15-minute time frame. So let's assume the most recent low is taken out. Now, the next step is that you want to drop down to 1 minute time frame, and then you have to look for a market structure shift with displacement. What I mean by displacement is price should not, engineer liquidity and then give you a market structure shift. This is a weak market structure shift. All right. What you want to see is a sharp V-shape push to the upside that breaks structure and also leaves behind a fair value gap. Okay. It also leaves behind a fair value gap. Now that is what's called displacement. Okay. Now what you can do is either directly enter after the market structure shift. So once you get a market structure shift, a body closure, not the wick, you can enter right away as long as price hasn't just went far above, right? I hope that makes sense to you. So if it's here, you can take your entry. Otherwise, if it's here, you will have to wait for price to tap into some form of PD array. Now this could be a breaker block, could be a fair value gap, okay, in the discount. Any fair value gap in the discount, okay? Now you simply take your entry, all right, set and forget. You go break even at 1-to-1 risk reward and you go for 1-to-2 as your final TP. Now, for some people, if you can risk more, if you are okay, then you can hold a trade till the most recent high that we have over here. But what I do and what members do is that we take our full TP at 1-to-2 and we go break even at 1-to-1. Now, over the period of time, you're gonna make 10 to 15% a month. Okay. And no, you're not going to have 100% win rate. I don't have a holy grail. Well, this is the closest thing to holy grail. But trust me when I say this, if you stay consistent with this strategy, you're going to pass your challenges. You're going to get funded. And of course, if you trade futures, you can trade gold futures as well. For Forex, you can choose the pair name XAU USD. And for futures, you can use GC, which is gold futures over here. Now, similarly, what you would do is do the same stuff, right? If you want to take a short position, mark out the high and low, right? Which is right here, basically. on the 15-minute time frame, market opens, we get a Judas to the upside, sweeping out liquidity, the market structure shift with displacement, entry, and bam. Now that is step one of the strategy. Now after the 8 p.m. New York time, we get another Judas swing, which is very, very strong, and it's going to give you a very big move, bigger than the 8 p.m. one, okay? So if you're done with the 8 p.m. trade, so remember this one thing, if you're already in the 8 p.m. trade, you cannot take the 9 p.m. trade. I'm going to explain that in a bit. So the next Judas swing happens at after 9 p.m. New York time, okay? So over here, what you can see, we are done with this trade, right? Now, wait for price to create another low, most recent high, and most recent low on the 15-minute time frame before 9 p.m. New York time. Now you mark those levels out, okay? And let's say that you didn't get any entry for the 8 p.m. one, then you can look for this, all right? But if you're done with this trade, you can also look for this. But if you're still in this trade and you get this setup, you are not going to take it because it is going to overlap with your first trade, and we don't want that. Now, simple, same rule applies here, waiting for price to sweep out the most recent high or the low after 9 p.m. open. And as soon as we get that, we look for displacement, market structure shift, entry, bam, right? Same would be like this. If you invert the chart, take out the most recent high, market structure shift with displacement, fair value gap entry, 1 to 2, 1 to 1 at break even at 1 to 1. Simple as that. Now there's step 3, and that is if you don't want to trade on the 1 minute time frame. Now this is going to give you also very big moves, and that is on the 5 minute time frame. So let me explain that in a bit. So let me just remove all of this and bear with me with here. So after 8 p.m. New York time, right? Let's say that you have open here. Oh my God, I messed up. All right. So let's say you have open here and you have liquidity, right? So most recent high and most recent low on the 5 minute time frame over here and over here. Now after 8 p.m. on the 5 minute time frame, you're waiting for obvious run on liquidity, right? This leg leaves behind fair value gaps and sweeps the most recent low on the 5 minute time frame after 8 p.m. New York time. Now you are waiting for inversion above the fair value gap that formed inside this dealing range, from this dealing range high to this dealing range low. So simply wait for price to inverse above it and close above it, right? And you simply take your entry right after it closes here. You're not waiting for retest, you're simply entering and you're targeting 1 to 2. And you're going break even as soon as the closest liquidity pool is hit. So this closest liquidity pool is over here. Once that's taken, you go break even and you hold till 1 to 2 risk reward. And again, you're going to get 2 trades for this. Okay. So if you are done with this inversion trade, then you can wait for another obvious run on liquidity. So what is an obvious run on liquidity? Basically, it is a move that sweeps liquidity, but also leaves behind a fair value gap. Okay. So this leg swept this high. Let's say that you get a fair value gap here. You wait for the inversion of that fair value gap on the 5 minute. You take your entry 1 to 2, simple as that. Now let's say that there are multiple fair value gaps inside this leg, so you have to wait for all of them to get inverse, and then you can take your entry. The break even rule is very strict with this model, so you have to go break even as soon as the closest low is taken, closest liquidity pool. You go break even here, and then you wait for momentum to kick in, and that's pretty much it. So that is the Midas model for you guys. And then of course you can take the 9 a.m. 9:30. You can take this exact setup after 9:30 open as well, New York time. So 9:30 a.m. now. So we are in the New York session. So again, as soon as, let's say that we have the most recent low and the most recent high on the 5 minute time frame before 9:30 open, right? So 9:30 opens here, wait for price to give you an obvious run on liquidity, then you wait for inversion, simple as that, guys. And then you basically look for inversion, bam and bam. Simple, mechanical, nothing complicated, right? So now that we have known the strategy, again, let me give you guys the, let me show you the trade breakdowns, the trades that we took this week so far. So here we go. All right, so let's start with today's trade, and we all took it in the Discord. So this was the 8 p.m. trade. It gave us a very clean 1 to 2 RR. You don't need more than that. So at 7:59 p.m., right after the Asia Open, what we did, we marked out the most recent high and the most recent low, just like a robot. And then if we go down to the 1 minute time frame, right, what we were waiting for is for the sweep. And there we get our sweep, right? We took out the most recent low. Now, all we were waiting for is a market structure shift with displacement. And over here, if you look closely, we had a market structure shift, and that was our entry right away because the candle didn't go up and we could enter right here. Stop went right below the low over here, and the target was 1 to 2 RR. We are not looking at anything else. So you can see over here, we hit our TP. That was absolutely beautiful. Now, if I go to the 5-minute time frame, we get another trade. So we didn't get a trade for the 9 p.m. one because let me show you, okay? Let me show you what I mean by this. So we have, let's go to fast forward. Okay, so over here, what you can see is this candle right here, right? So 8:59, it swept out all the liquidity, right? So what we did, we went down to 5-minute time frame, right? And let me just pull this. Okay, so look at it here. We swept the most recent low right there. And what we had an obvious run on liquidity, and we left behind this tiny fair value gap over here. If I zoom in, you can see we have this tiny fair value gap. And we also have this fair value gap over here. So we were waiting for all of them to get inversed. Now, as soon as price inversed above this, that was the entry. Stop went right below the inversion over here. Okay, and we simply went for 1 to 2 RR, simple as that. And you can see how trade just pushed towards our take profit level. So these were 2 trades today that we took. Now let's go back. All right, so this is on Tuesday. Okay, so it shows Monday because the time is in New York, so it's gonna show Monday, but it was actually on Tuesday for me and a lot of people. So we didn't get any trade for the 8 p.m. Judas, and I'm gonna show you why. We did have this low over here. We did sweep it, but we didn't get a market structure shift before 9 p.m. So just before 9 p.m., we engineered this low over here, right? And then we had this high over here, of course. So if I go down to the 1-minute time frame, right, we get a sweep right at the 9 p.m. open, right? And if you look at it here, we did get a sweep, right? But we failed to get a market structure shift. If you look at it here, we failed to close above this, so that was not a market structure shift, and we never got it. So here, we did get a market structure shift, but I was like, no, we have this liquidity pool over here. This is not displacement. We kind of struggled here. This is not clean. So we waited, okay? And if I push it down, let me show you what displacement looks like, okay? You're going to see it right here. Wait a minute. So we get another sweep over here. Bam. That's what I'm talking about. A V-shaped recovery, okay? So that's what we get. Sweep and push. Bam. Right up there. Like an elephant jumps into a pool and the water splashes. That's what I'm talking about. Now what we have is a fair value gap, right? That was our entry level. Stop goes right below the low. And what we do is we simply aim for 1 to 2. So see how it plays out. Absolutely beautiful. Literally the most mechanical model. Happens every day, right? It's something that you can take and then forget and enjoy the rest of your day. And this I'm teaching you for absolutely free, okay? So literally simple as that. If you want to trade this with us in the community that we have built, a beautiful community, right? There's a link down in the description. It's not necessary, but again, it's for your own benefit. Let me show you the previous trade that we took on Monday. All right, so this is what happened on Monday, and this is going to be a very, very important example for you. So let's go here, okay? Now at 7:59, what we have is the most recent low right here, and we have the most recent high. Now we wait for price to take them out, but we don't get a sweep, right? That's okay, 8:59 right there. And what do we have? We have the most recent low and the most recent high for 9 p.m. Judas. And we wait. This is the 9 p.m. open. And bam, we get a sweep right there. So now we didn't get a trade for the 8 p.m., but we do got a trade for the 9 p.m. Judas. And let me show you how you would have taken it. So right there, what we have is a market structure shift. And just around here, what do we have is an auto block. Okay, so this would have been your entry. Your stop would go right below this level. And you could have targeted 1 to 2 here. But you will see how this trade played out. So price pushes up, it goes up, and that's totally fine. I'm going to teach you one more thing after this trade is over. Okay, so we get a tap. We finally get a tap. So let me just, right there. So let me just take it here. Now, your entries must be before the midnight open, which is 12 a.m. New York time, because that's when the algorithm shifts. Okay, so your entry must be before this time. Previously, it was before 10, but then I have tweaked, and now this is the best time to not take trades. So this was the trade, and 1 to 2, you will see how price just keeps moving, bro. This is literally the best thing that you can find on YouTube right now, and that for absolutely free. I'm not even kidding here. Like, look at this move. You don't need daily bias. You don't need anything else. Okay? And show me one trader who gives out his edge for absolutely free. Like, what is this? You can literally pause your channel. And this is like 100% so far for this week. And for the last week, we had the same win rate as well. And that's only trading gold. I trade NQ as well in the Discord. Live after 9:30 open. And if your guru is not live trading in front of his members, he's not a real guru. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys learned this strategy and apply it yourself and see the results. If you have seen positive results, leave them down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.